Hi, hello, it's me, Tiana, back at it again for another video, and today we are talking about Khloe Kardashian. If you're not like a super on the internet person, or even really casually on the internet, because the story has gotten kind of big, you might not know what's going on with Khloe Kardashian currently, so I will give you a quick little rundown. Khloe Kardashian was on a family vacation, I'm assuming with her grandma and some of her other family members. Her grandmother ended up posting a candid picture of her at the pool, I think. She was in a bikini. She posted a picture of Khloe, a candid picture of Khloe, you know, without like lights and angles and like Photoshop and all that, just a picture that she just snapped really quick. Posted it, I'm assuming, on her Instagram. Khloe also that same day posted some more heavily stylized, we'll go with, pictures on her own Instagram. People who I guess are like super into the Kardashians, because as someone who was like a casual Kardashian watcher, which I'll get more into later, I didn't even know that MJ, who is the grandmother, had an Instagram or had like online presence that people could like be tapped into. But people started putting the picture that the grandmother MJ posted next to the picture that Khloe Kardashian herself posted, and we're like, this doesn't even look like the same person. Like, this very, like I said, stylized picture. And people like were sort of, she was getting a little bit of pushback of people being like, you heavily edit your pictures, it's not what you look like, you're, you know, a bad role model for like putting this perception of who you are on the internet. Also people making fun of her and all kind of stuff that they do to Khloe Kardashian. Because this is not the first, nor the second, nor the third or fourth time that she has been accused of heavily editing her pictures. It was very recently, I think, another scandal where it was a picture that she posted on her Instagram, and then an episode of their show came out in which she was obviously in the same glam with the same hair, and it looked drastically different, and people were showing like a screenshot from the show next to the screenshot of the picture that she actually posted from that same day, and we're like, this doesn't even look like the same person. So like I said, it's not the 10th time that people have called her out for heavily editing her pictures. So apparently this time was different though, because in order for the story to sort of die down, or in her mind she wanted it to die down, because you would think you would just be like, you know what, grandma, take that picture down. Grandma deletes the picture, you never address it, and you move on. And that's kind of how she did with like all the other scandals. Like I think it even like I said with the Facetune one that like was debunked by the show, their TV show, even Malika had commented and was like, Khloe, this doesn't even look like you in this picture. She never really addressed it. She never really talked about it. So people just were having their own conversations about Khloe Kardashian without her sort of tapping in. However, with this situation, for whatever reason, she felt obligated to do something about it. So her lawyer, or her grandmother's lawyer, because remember, her grandma, Chris, is like late 60s, I think. So the grandma is probably like in her 80s or 90s. So like the grandma, I'm sure, is not the one that's orchestrating this. But the grandmother's lawyer was basically suing people, or like sending cease and desist, and having like people who posted those pictures like remove their accounts, removed their videos and post about the subject removed, and sending them cease and desist letters to get people to stop posting the picture and sort of wipe that picture from the internet. However, this just made people more and more angry and brought more and more attention to the situation. Colloquially is known as the Streisand effect. I think it was the actual story about why it's called the Streisand effect is because like Barbara Streisand was like suing somebody to stop them from posting information about her home, I think it was. And all that did was like put more people, like made more people aware that this person had information about her home or something like that. I don't know. You can Google Streisand effect and it will tell you the whole story. But basically, it's just when a celebrity sues somebody who has information on them, which makes people seek that information out more rather than make the information go away. So because the lawyer was sending out cease and desist and like removing people's whole accounts and like removing posts from people's pages, like pages who had like their posts removed were being like, oh, this, you know, they sent me this letter and they removed my post. And like people who had their accounts removed were like letting their friends who are still online know that this happened, and they were posting saying, oh yeah, my friend got her page removed because of this, or like making like, you know, new pages and being like, my page got deleted because I posted a picture of Khloe Kardashian. So it turned into a whole sort of frenzy of people being very, I guess, upset that Khloe's reaction to the situation was to like basically silence people instead of either A, addressing it, or B, ignoring it. Which I feel like she shouldn't want to be ignored it, but whatever. We'll get to my opinion on this situation. So that basically is what happened. Then Khloe Kardashian posted a Instagram post, which I will put on the screen. You can pause it to read. But in the Instagram post, she basically said that, you know, she addressed the situation saying that, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't really like tell you word for word what she said, but the gist of it was basically that she felt a lot of pressure living in this like social media bubble and in this industry to look perfect, and that people like make fun of her, and it really like damages her self-esteem to hear some of the stuff that people say about her, about, you know, Robert not being her father, Robert Kardashian not being her real father, about her being the fat sister or the ugly sister, or people just being hyper fixated on any sort of flaw they can find on her, and how that damaged her self-esteem, and made her feel like she has to be in total control of her like public image, that if any sort of picture or post comes out that is like unflattering, people like basically use it to bully her. So she has a right as a human being to like control the narrative or whatever of her like physical image on the internet, or something to that effect. Like I said, it'll be on the screen, or it was on the screen. You can pause it and read it. That's pretty much it. She was basically saying that it was our fault as like viewers or people who engage with like social media, that we bullied her into feeling insecure and feeling like she had to have like hyper control over her image online, right? And I've seen a lot of people talk about this, people whose video, you know, ended up letting it stay up, or they were able to like, I don't even know if this video will get taken down. I don't really know if my channel is big enough for people to like notice or care, but like I've seen some like commentary on the situation, and I feel like a lot of people are missing nuance in the situation. I feel a lot of people, because of the subject of the conversation being Khloe Kardashian, people are like hyper focused on the Kardashian of it all without having a nuanced discussion about like what issues that Khloe are actually talking about and bringing up, because Khloe is right in some instances, and she's also delusional, like truly delusional. But I feel like I just wanted to come and just give a little bit of a more nuanced take on this situation. So let's get into my opinion. Let me first start by talking about my relationships to the Kardashians. If you cannot tell by looking into the camera, I am a black woman. I am a black woman, so I do have a more complicated relationship with the Kardashians because of their constant appropriation of black culture, the way they engage with and talk about both black men and black women, and the way that they sort of present themselves in the world. They do very heavily, we'll say, borrow from black culture and the way that they present themselves, and like the trends that they start, and like whether you want to acknowledge it or not, they are trendsetters. You can literally go to LA Doctors like today and be like, I want Kim Kardashian's face, and I'm sure people do that on a daily basis, go in asking for a Kim Kardashian face, and they get them, or like Kylie Jenner lips, or like all of us. Like they are trendsetters in the sort of things that they do or get. And a lot of the influence, it's a lot of black girls on their mood boards. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of black girls on their mood boards, and you can very clearly see it, right? So I do have a complicated relationship with that, but also of my age demographic, of me being someone who was like young 20s, I guess, or like late teens and stuff, when the Kardashians were at like the peak of their heights, and being someone who like did look at them as like glamorous and cool and interesting. I've also been the type of person who's just very fascinated in like how people live their lives. I was very into reality shows for a period. I can't really watch reality shows now because I feel like I engage with reality shows too much like it's fiction. And like I view these people as characters, and when I take a step back and like think of these people as like real people who have to go back to their real lives after these antics on TV, it just makes me really sad to like realize that actually they have to live these lives. Like this is yes, this is for entertainment, like the stuff that we see is for entertainment, but like some of this has like real repercussions and like consequences, and that these are real people and not just like sources of entertainment. I don't know, I guess I've seen too many reality shows like sort of like deteriorate the mental health of people that I no longer feel comfortable engaging in it. So I don't watch reality shows. I don't watch reality at all anymore, really. I get my dose of other people's business from YouTube. But and even that, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I should be. I feel like this is something you should be talking about with your therapist and not broadcasting to millions of people on the internet. But that's a different video about a different subject. But yeah, so I did used to watch the Kardashians. I have not watched the show in, I would say, maybe like 5 or 6 years. So I can't really speak to like the current iteration of the show, or like what's happening currently or like in the last couple seasons, because I have not watched. I'm saying 5 or 6, but maybe it's like 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. Whenever the Taylor Swift stuff happened, I think that might have been the last full season I watched, and then I would like jump in for like kind of episodes when like interesting stuff was like playing out in real life that I knew was going to be covered on the show. I might pop in for like that episode, but I haven't really watched it consistently, like I said, in maybe like 4 or 5 years. But I also was very into this blog that was called Keeping Up with the Continuality Errors, which basically would show you like, this is what actually happened on this day, and this is what they showed you happened on this day. And I found that very fascinating, and it probably kept me watching the show longer than I probably would have if like that blog didn't exist, because I found it very interesting to see how like they created these narratives about who the Kardashians were, and they sort of painted the picture of who they wanted to be viewed as, which we'll get to that, because I feel like that plays a very big part in this story, in the disingenuality of Khloe's statement. But so I guess long story short, I think I would call myself maybe a casual fan of the Kardashians who has like a more complicated relationship to the Kardashians. Khloe was never one of the people that I liked on the Kardashians. I won't even like sit here and try to front for you. I never liked her as a personality. My favorite was Kourtney, because I feel like most people feel like Kourtney is their favorite because Kourtney is the one that comes off the most genuine, but I don't know that, I don't know if that's like hype, but we'll get into that when I talk more about the bubble of Kardashian-ness. And I used to go like back and forth. Like one season I like him, and then the next season I'm like, she's so aggravating. I get why everybody hate her, and then the next season I'm like, oh well, they were too hard. I think I try to like play both sides on a lot of things in my life. I try to be like fair and balanced and be like this video, give nuance to the situation, like, because rarely is somebody 100% wrong, and rarely is somebody 100% right. And sometimes people get like myopic in their thought process and refuse to acknowledge that there is like some nuance, there is some room, some space in that. But yeah, so my problem with Khloe's statement is that the Kardashians, like I said earlier, have popularized and made trends into like physical features. Like they've made trends into body image, and like the way they've sold these like flat tummy tees and the waist trainers. They pop up on the scene with new faces every couple years, and then lie in our faces and be like, no, I just got this from doing the gym. And even with the gym stuff, they repackage and sell like fitness culture and health and wellness culture of, which is basically like putting people on the track for an eating disorder and calling it a product. And like they consistently fed into this idea of there is one ideal body type, there's one ideal facial feature, there's one ideal look that a person must have to be considered beautiful. They fed very much so into beauty culture. And I talked a little bit about beauty culture in my video I did. I don't know if it was the last video I did before I took a little break, but it's a video called Why I Hate Instagram, where I talked about how being on Instagram like really damaged my self-esteem, because seeing like everybody's face start to look like the same face, and realizing that I did not have like the bone structures to look like those girls, and I would never be pretty in the way that those women are pretty, for multiple reasons outside of like physical, like my face structure, but like the fact that I was darker, the fact that I was black in general, like different things that was just never going to vibe with what the Instagram aesthetic was, started to like mess with my mind. So I had to get off Instagram. And the big reason why that Instagram aesthetic sort of came up was the popularization of the Kardashians, of the Khloes and the Kims, and really a lot of it can be put on Kylie as well, of people watching Kylie Jenner go from the very normal, like regular everyday looking girl to this like beautiful bombshell sort of girl, which I don't even think Kylie looks like dramatically different. Like she obviously, you can see like the fillers and stuff in her face in the way that like changed her face, but I don't feel like she looks dramatically different than how she used to. And I feel like people kind of do the same thing to Kylie that they do to Khloe, in which they name Kylie as the ugly one and then like hyper focus on the changes that she made to her face. Like people aren't calling her ugly, but we're not there yet. So Kylie also sort of popularized, like I said, fillers, and sort of made it more normalized, the idea of younger and younger girls getting a lot of fillers. So you have girls who are like in their early 20s who are already getting like jaw and cheekbone and under eye filler and Botox and brow lifts and like all kind of stuff that normally used to be things that were done for older women who were trying to like age gracefully, right? Fillers were used for people who had lost like definition in their face and they just wanted something to bring back that more youthful look. And now it's being used for younger women who still have like normal collagen production, who are now using it to like change the way their face is shaped because they want to fit into a more Instagram ready aesthetic. To the point that I've seen so many YouTubers that I love go from being like, I would never use fillers, to being like, everybody use fillers, but I'm not like them, to being like, well, I just got one filler, to I have a face full of fillers, and it's fine and it's cool because that's what everybody does. And the pressure to keep up that people have when they're in like I don't know, public facing sort of jobs. I can tell you right now, I'll never do filler in my face. And maybe I'll let me run it back. Maybe if I get old and my face starts to get like saggy, and like I said, the original purpose of these fillers of like refilling like sagging skin or refilling areas that have lost definition and collagen production, maybe I might get fillers when I get to that point in my life. But as just for aesthetic, I just don't like. I just feel like my face is my face, and I don't want my face to look like everybody's face. So this video is not about me, so we're moving on. The other side though, that I feel like people are not like talking about, or people are not giving enough like weight to, because like I 100% people who don't feel sorry for Khloe, right? Who feel like your family sort of normalized this idea of everybody has to look Instagram perfect at all times. Because I've been on Instagram since the app like came into existence, and I remember people used to just post on Instagram, and it was just like a candid photo. Like if you go to my Instagram, which you can go to, is linked in every single video. It's public Instagram. I don't really use it, but like it's there and it exists if you want to look at my Instagram. But it's I still have up like very normal pictures of me like in my teen years, in my early 20s, and it was just normal pictures, and that was normal. Like, and also the people who I like followed on Instagram or engaged with Instagram were people I knew in real life, or people who I went to high school with, people who I went to college with. You know, those were the people who were my friends on Instagram. People did not really have an idea of like being Instagram like famous or like being able to make a lot of money off Instagram when Instagram first started. So the aesthetic of Instagram was just people posting pictures, right? It was given very much like maybe like one step up from Facebook, right? Where you would just, or MySpace, where you were just posting photo dumps. But it's just like, this is just a little bit more like strategic of a picture that you're posting. Because I don't think when you originally posted, I don't think you can post more than one picture. Like, I don't think they had like, what is it called, a carousel? I think it was just like the one picture. I'm pretty sure it was just the one picture. So like you had to choose the best picture, and that was the one you posted on Instagram, right? And I get people who don't feel sorry for Khloe because of that. However, we do have to understand that Khloe and the Kardashians as a whole did not invent beauty standards, and they did not invent the idea that women have to be perfect to be perceived in this world, right? They did not come up with the idea of misogyny. They did not invent like standards of beauty, right? And even though they have fed into it, they are also victims of it. And you can tell very easily watching these Kardashian shows that they all have eating disorders, that they all have like body image issues, that they all have like an intense obsession with beauty and perfection, and that it's also harmful to their psyches. Like, you can hear the way that they talk about their bodies. You can hear the way they talk about like the way they present themselves in the world, and understand that this is not coming from people who are like body positive or confident about their bodies. They're coming from people who are insecure and feel like have issues with the way that they are viewed in the world, and feel very like strongly that the way that they present in the world is the way that they will be treated in the world, and feel like they have to look like this to have the things that they have, that they wouldn't be who they were if they didn't look the way they looked. And like, when you have that mindset, and you also have to understand with the very real acknowledgement that people do bully Khloe, and people do try to make Khloe feel like she is the ugly one, that her father is not her father, that her that she's, you know, the fat one because she is bigger. The thing is, both Kimberly, both Kim and Kourtney are like 5 foot at 5'2". Like, they're tiny, tiny, tiny women. Khloe is not tiny like them. Like, she's taller than them. So obviously she is going to be bigger than them. But because of that, people always tried to make her seem like she was more boyish, that she was more, you know, she was fatter, that she was uglier, and all of these things. And you can't have a conversation about why Khloe is so fixated with the idea of her public perception without understanding that some of it is because of the way people have treated her. Like, you can't separate the fact that people do bully her for her looks from the fact that she also lies consistently about things that she has done to her body, or participates in beauty culture. And like, not to give her anything, but we all participate in beauty culture, and we all to some extent are like feeding into the idea that beauty is the way like you should be treated. Like, your level of beauty determines how well or unwell you should be treated. And the conversation should not be about expanding beauty and who is determined beauty. Like, the issue is not necessarily who gets to be beautiful, but the fact that everybody is not beautiful, and how beautiful you are should not determine how well you're treated. We should treat everyone equally regardless of how beautiful we individually find them. Like, I feel like a lot of times people who are against beauty culture or like body negativity or whatever will try to turn that into we should think everybody is beautiful. And I just don't agree with that. Like, and this might be, a controversial take, but I truly do not believe that everybody is beautiful. I feel like maybe most people in the world are beautiful to someone. Like, just because I don't think you're pretty, or you know, this person doesn't think you're pretty, or someone doesn't think I'm pretty, right, doesn't mean that I'm not beautiful to that there's not somebody else who is saying that I am pretty, or someone who does see the beauty in me. However, I feel like the conversation needs to be more about people respecting all people regardless of beauty, and that the conversation should not be creating more space in this hierarchy. Because if you still have beauty, right, if you still have what is determined as beautiful, there's really no way to, when you're giving social capital to like people who are beautiful, there's really no way to make that like even, so that everybody is receiving the same social capital, because that's not really how hierarchies work. Like, even if you decide that everybody is beautiful, there will be people who are more beautiful, and if you keep prioritizing beauty, then you just end up with a different hierarchy. And that's the same thing that with like other sort of, I think I talked about this in, like I said, my video about Instagram, but like the idea of what is beautiful is very much rooted in white supremacy and misogyny or whatever. And if you don't like dismantle misogyny, you don't dismantle white supremacy, you're just recreating it in different ways. So like, if you decide that, okay, everybody is beautiful now, you'll still have a hierarchy of, this person is like really pretty, like, and it also turns into like platitudes and niceties that don't really have any benefit on what people actually go through. Like, you can say that everybody is beautiful and that's fine, but you're still treating certain people better than you're treating other people. And yes, you're saying to their face they're beautiful, but are you treating them like how you would treat somebody who you truly thought was beautiful? I don't know, but that's my thoughts on the Kardashians and beauty. I had coffee earlier, so if I'm talking like 3 million miles per hour, that's because I had coffee, and I never drink coffee. So I do apologize. I don't know if you can slow videos down, because I'll be speeding them up, but if you can slow videos down, you might want to do that. My bad. Sorry about it. Well, I guess it's the end of the video, so you probably already did that. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's all. It's crazy. I made a video, and at the beginning of the video I was like, new videos every week, and then I proceeded to not make videos for 4 weeks. And it was really just because I got vaccinated, and the vaccine took a lot out of me. Like, I've been very, 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 very exhausted for like weeks. So I haven't really had like the energy to record and edit. So sorry about that, but I am trying to get back at it. So yeah. That's it. That's all. You can follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm at most of the time. Here's my Instagram if you care. Here's my TikTok. Because I am on TikTok, I guess now. I don't really know what I'm posting, but you can follow me on there. Yeah, I guess that's it, and that's all. And I'll see you in the next one.